Hello students, welcome to KENE'S Educare, a group of KENE solutions. This is part 4 of lesson number 12, sound. So as we are on to part 4 now, like we have completed half of the lesson right as of yet, and we are just left with few part for the lesson, right? And if you all have revised, like you might be knowing that we have like learned about transverse wave, longitudinal wave, how exactly the propagation of the sound like happens, what is sound wave, what are waves, what is frequency, time period, right? So in the last class, like we have discussed on amplitude, time period and frequency, and today I will be continuing with that itself, where we have echo and all the every definitions which are important for the lesson, like sound. We will be studying all of them along with the SI unit, right? So before I proceed with this part, as you all know that we keep on revising each and everything, because according to me revision is the most important thing that each and every student should do, right? So I want you all to please go through the notes that you have taken so far in the lesson, starting from part 1 till part 3. Whatever notes you have taken, please go through it, everyone. I hope every one of you are going through it. So like now I'm going to show you all the slides one by one for the lesson that we have started, right? So we have started the lesson by discussing on production of sound, right? How exactly the sound has been produced. And based on that, we have even like discussed on this activity. So I want each one of you to please go through this slide and please go through the activity well, understand it, try to explain it in your own words now. I hope every one of you are going through this slide. I hope you all are going through it and you are able to explain the activity and about the production of sound as well in your own words. Yeah? After this production of sound, we discussed on propagation of sound, that how exactly the sound has been propagated. And we discussed on that it needs a medium for propagation, right? And we even discussed on like what is exactly happening because of which the sound is audible to the ear, right? Why you are able to like listen to the sound, right? So everything has been discussed over here. We even discussed on what is wave, right? So wave is a disturbance which moves through a medium by the vibration of particle of the medium. So what's wave? It's a disturbance that has been created through the medium because of which the particles vibrate, and that is the reason that we are able to we are able to like have this wave. Okay, and this sound waves, they are being produced because of the vibration of particles. Okay, so here they have introduced the term mechanical waves. So there are two different types of mechanical waves which we have studied in the next slide. One is the transverse wave and the other one is the longitudinal wave, right? So I want each one of you to please go through this slide. And transverse and longitudinal wave, we will be discussing it further in the next slide. Okay, but please go through it, everyone. I hope every one of you are going through this slide. Each one of you should be thorough with the things that we are discussing or we have discussed so far, as it's very important for you to know the concept because you have to write the answer at the end, right? So make sure you know whatever we are studying about, like we are studying. Okay. After this propagation of sound, we discussed on propagation of sound through air. So I want each one of you to please go through it as well, because over here we discussed on compression and rarefaction, right? I hope you all are going through this slide because over here we have the exact difference between compression and rarefaction, right? After this compression and rarefaction, that is studying about the propagation of sound through air, we discussed on the vibrating object producing a series of compression and rarefaction, right? So over here we had discussed on how exactly compression and rarefaction looks like. So I want each one of you to please go through it as well. Then we discussed that sound needs a medium to travel, right? So under that we had even discussed on one of the activity. So I want each one of you to please go through this slide as well, and along with, like, while you revise the activity you have to go through the figure that has been given as well. Okay. I hope you all have started going through it. After this, we have discussed that sound waves are longitudinal wave, right? So over here we have discussed on the two types of mechanical wave that exist. The first one is the longitudinal wave, and the other one that we have is the transverse wave. So you can find the basic difference over here. So please go through it, everyone. I hope you all are going through the activity. You should be knowing the difference between both the waves and the observation and conclusion to the activity as well. Okay. Then after studying about sound waves or longitudinal waves, we discussed on the characteristics of the sound wave. So I want each one of you to please go through the slide as well. Over here also we have some of the important terms given, like what is crest, what is trough, everything has been explained over here. So I want you all to please go through it quickly. I hope you all are going through it and you know what exactly crest and trough is, right? See, all the basic things like you can get them all as objectives or as one sentence, like what is crest, what is trough, what is wavelength, what is the symbol to represent that, what is the SI unit for that, everything. So make sure you're aware of all the terms, you know what exactly they are. Okay. I hope you all have gone through this part. Now, after discussing on the characteristics of the sound wave, we even discussed on the next part as like how the density variation and the pressure variation has been seen in like if the source of the sound is the speaker, right? So over there also we have the formation of crest and trough which takes place, right? So please go through it quickly, everyone. After this we discussed on the frequency of the sound wave, so I hope you all are going through it as well. You need to even go through the structure that has been given below. I hope every one of you are going through it. Okay, so like you have to know this, that short wavelength means lots of waves, high frequency, high sound, and long wavelength means fewer waves, low frequency, low sound. Okay, After frequency of the sound wave, the next thing that we discussed on was the time period of the sound wave. So I hope you all are going through it. I hope you all are going through it. See, you have to draw, like whenever you have been asked to write about the frequency, you need to draw this short frequency, like short wavelength and long wavelength. And while you write about time period, you need to make sure you're writing about the, like you are drawing this high frequency and low frequency waves. Okay. After this time period of the sound wave, we discussed on amplitude of sound wave, right? So over here we have two definitions for amplitude which has been given, like which I feel that the second definition where they stated that amplitude of the sound wave is the height of the crest or the trough. That one is like good to go, right? I hope you all have revised this part. So after this amplitude of the sound wave we discussed on this slide, where we saw the disturbances in the wave which have been created on, and based on that, like what will be the wavelength and what will be the amplitude. So always remember that the wavelength is the distance between the crest of two waves that are next to each other. What is wavelength? Distance between the crests of two waves which are next to each other, and amplitude is going to be like how high the crests are. So wavelength and amplitude both are different, and you should be knowing the exact difference between this like wavelength and the amplitude part. Okay. So I hope you have even drawn this and you have written about wavelength and amplitude in your book. After this, now, I guess we even discussed on pitch and loudness, or do we need to discuss it today? Okay, we need to discuss it. No, we discussed it, right? Okay, let us do it once again. Okay, see, the pitch of sound, which is also known as the shrillness or the flatness, it depends upon the frequency of vibration. Okay, what is the pitch of the sound going to depend on? It's going to depend upon the frequency of vibration. So if the frequency is going to be high, then sound will have high pitch, and if the frequency will be low, then sound will have low pitch. Getting it? What I said? If the frequency is high, then there will be high pitch. If the frequency is low, then there will be low pitch. Okay, so in the diagram you can see, since the sound, they are traveling at about the same speed, the one with shorter wavelength will go by more frequently, and it will have high frequency or pitch. In other words, the sound will be higher with shorter wavelengths, right? So you can see the waves are all traveling about the same speed. So this is the number of each wave that will reach the ear in hundredth of second, right? So I want you all to please go through it. I hope you all are going through this slide and you need to even write all the important points. Okay, after this, now here we have more points that the loudness of sound depends upon the amplitude of the vibration. So if the amplitude will be bigger, the sound will be loud, and if the amplitude will be smaller, the sound will be soft. So it depends upon you now, like whether you want to have loud sound or you want to have soft sound. So if you want soft sound, then you have to keep the amplitude smaller. Okay. So amplitude is loudness, and the size of the wave, how much it is piled up at a high point, is its amplitude. So for sound wave, the bigger the amplitude, the louder the sound. Okay. Now we have the next thing, that is speed of the sound to discuss. So see, speed of sound is different in different media. Now it's going to depend on media as well. So it's going to be different in all kinds of media. And the speed of sound is more in solid, less in liquid, and less in gases. Now we know that the medium can be any, right? It can be solid, liquid, or it can be gas. So always the speed of the sound is going to be more in solid, less in liquid, and least in the gas. Okay. So speed of sound also depends upon the temperature of the medium, and if the temperature is more, the speed of the sound will be more. So if we want that the speed of the sound should be more, we have to make sure that we are increasing the temperature of the medium. Okay. So there's a relationship that exists between speed, frequency, and wavelength. So we can have the relationship as speed is equal to wavelength into frequency. Now we know we represent speed as V. So speed is equal to wavelength, which is represented as lambda, and frequency is nu, right? So this is how it works. I hope every one of you are writing this in your book. Okay, do write the formula as well and the relationship that exists between speed, frequency, and wavelength. After this, now we have the speed of sound in different medium at you can say different medium that has been given, right? So the state has been given as solid, liquid, and gas. And after giving the state as solid, liquid, and gas, the next thing that we have is like the substances and the speed, right? Like for aluminium, the speed is 6420 meter per second. For steel, it is 5950 meter per second. For glass, it is 3980 meter per second, right? So all of them have different speed. So please go through this slide, everyone. Okay, now we have the next thing as reflection of sound. So I will be starting with this reflection of sound in the next part, but make sure you go through frequency, time period, then everything that we studied till now properly. Okay, so I will be starting with this part, reflection of the sound, in the next part where we have an activity to discuss. Then after that we will be discussing on echo and reverberation as well, like what exactly they are. Then after discussing on this reverberation and echo in detail, okay, we'll discuss on uses of multiple reflection of sound in detail, and then we'll discuss on range of hearing, uses of ultrasonic sound, sonar, structure of human ear, everything in detail. Okay, then after this, like, we will be discussing on the summary discussion for the whole lesson. We'll be doing this, and then after this we have like 22 exercise questions to discuss, which I'm going to show you one by one, and I want each one of you to please go through those exercise questions. Okay, See, these questions are all based on ultrasound. So once we discuss on, sorry, once we discuss on all these topics, you will be able to answer them all. So here we have working and application of sonar. Here we have like question on speed of sound and sonar device, right? So again we have question on ultrasound, like the defects in metal block can be detected using ultrasound, and then human ear works. So these are the 22 questions that we will be discussing at the end of the lesson. So make sure each one of you revise whatever we have discussed so far in the lesson sound. Now whatever part has been left for the lesson, I'm going to continue that in the next part. Thank you everyone.